That's all right. It was good. It was almost like a fist fight between me and the other guy that's like, thought he was next. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's midnight. So I volunteered at the Special Olympics recently. And it's just like kind of a local thing. It's not the, the big one with all like the highly trained athletes. Just kind of like a regional thing for like kids and some adults. Or like a track and field day. And the first thing I noticed when I got there was that the Special Olympics opening ceremony sounds very similar to Phil Collins' Take Me Home. Like suspiciously so. Like I was wondering, like, does Phil Collins know about this? Should I tell him? But then how upsetting would it be if I tweeted Phil Collins that and then minutes later, Phil Collins just descends on the field in like an Apache helicopter and just starts mowing down disabled kids, screaming about royalties and copyright infringement. So I'm waiting online to get assigned my buddy. And your buddy is basically just like a kid you babysit for the afternoon, make sure they get to their events, make sure they have lunch, hold their stuff while they compete. And I was standing there, I know I'm getting a boy, because they don't give male volunteers girls, because that's how terrible men are. That like even at the Special Olympics, when like presented with like an 8-year-old girl with Down syndrome, there's still 2% of men that are like, exquisite. The 2% sounds like kind of a high number, but I'm sure there's plenty of guys here that's like, 2%, that's fine, I can live with that. It's not really fine. When you think like, I meet 100 dudes in a year, that sounds weird, but I do. And the idea that at least 2 of them would be at the Special Olympics, like, goodness, what sweet nectar has spring brought me. So I'm waiting in line, I get my kid, he's like a 14-year-old high school boy, and it's very obvious from the get-go that he does not want to be there and thinks he's way too cool for this. Doesn't want to be there, was forced to be there. Just, like the average teenager forced to go to some like lame family barbecue that they don't want to be at, and is further not very happy with the fact he's going to get chaperoned by some strange dude for the afternoon. Because they do it at a college, and this kid, like heading there on the bus, had like a 20% chance of just getting some smoking hot, like 19-year-old college girl as his buddy, and he's getting pretty close to the opposite of that. So right off the bat, he tells me, like, hey man, how about I just kind of hang out with my friends and you just do whatever? And you can't do that, because when you're assigned a buddy, you're responsible for knowing where they are the entire event. Someone from the Special Olympics can't come up to me and be like, hey, where's your buddy? And I'd be like, oh, I don't know. He told me to fuck off, and I just kind of fucked off. So I have to know where he's at. So I told the kid, let's compromise. I'll stand 10 feet away from you and not embarrass you. His words, not mine. But there's still an itinerary to adhere to. There's still certain events that take place at certain times, at certain tracks, that he has to be at. So I still have to make sure he gets to those. So at a certain point I go like, oh, we should probably head over to shot put now. And I turn around and I start walking over to shot put. And over my shoulder I hear like, oh, we should probably head over to shot put now. And I don't know if there was that much wrist flailing going on in it, but it sounded like there was probably a gratuitous amount of wrist flailing going on during his impression. And I stop and I go like, is that simple-minded, turd-guzzling, rabbit-killing son of a bitch like mocking me to his friends? Rest of the day went off without too much more embarrassment. But I've done this a few times, always with much like younger kids as my partner. And at the end of the day, yeah, it's great. At the end of the day, I always go, after they get their medals and they're about to get back on the bus and go to school, I always go like, hey, do you want me to take a picture of you with your medals on the field and I'll email it to your teacher? And every time the kid goes bananas, like, yeah, that's so cool, Mr. Larios, you're the bomb, or something similar to that. Why I said it to this kid, I'll never know. I asked the high school kid, wasn't even wearing his medals, he just shoved them in his pocket. I said, hey, you want me to take a picture of you and with your medals and I'll email them to your teacher? And the kid looked at me like I just said the weirdest, fruitiest, old man, out of touch thing I could have possibly said to him. Like I just threw him an old sock full of Werther's originals and was like, would you like to go ballroom dancing sometime? All right, it's been a late night. I'll give everybody some time back. My name's Michael Larios. That's been my time.
Yo, give it up for Michael Larios, yo. Good dude, man. Yo, appreciate him giving time back. Coming to the stage next is a fucking nutball. My twin. We look Arab, but we're not. Are you half Arab? Quarter Arab. So he's getting free gas like I get free gas. Yo, give it up from Charles Benjamin.